Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today we're exploring a powerful phrase, the day the Red Sea vanished. This isn't just one story, but three incredible tales woven together through history, geology, and our present day. We'll journey from an ancient miracle to a time the sea literally disappeared from the planet, and finally, to the fragile future it faces today. Let's dive into the first act, the most famous vanishing act in history. The biblical story of the Exodus is known across the world. The Israelites, fleeing slavery in Egypt, are trapped between the pursuing army of the Pharaoh and the shores of the Red Sea. In a moment of divine intervention, Moses stretches his hand over the water, a strong east wind blows all night, and the sea parts, creating a path of dry land. The Israelites cross safely, with walls of water on either side. When the Egyptian army follows, the waters crash back down, swallowing them and their chariots. It's a cornerstone story of salvation in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. For centuries, people have debated this event. While for many it's a pure act of God, scientists have explored if natural phenomena could explain it. An important clue lies in the original Hebrew text, which calls the body of water Yam Suf, meaning Sea of Reeds. This suggests the crossing may not have happened in the deep central Red Sea, but in a shallower marshy area to the north, perhaps one of the lakes in the Nile Delta, like the ancient Lake of Tanis. The leading scientific theory is a phenomenon called wind set-down. Imagine a powerful, sustained wind blowing across a shallow body of water. It can literally push the water to one side, exposing the lakebed. Researcher Carl Drews ran computer simulations, showing that a steady east wind of about 63 miles per hour, or 100 kilometers per hour, could have created a land bridge for several hours, perfectly matching the biblical description of an all-night event. When the wind stopped, the water would have rushed back with devastating force. Other theories have been proposed. Some suggest a tsunami, perhaps from an earthquake in the Mediterranean, could have caused the water to rapidly recede. However, this doesn't fit the detail of a wind holding the waters back for a long time. More recent studies point to a metacane, a hurricane-like storm in the Mediterranean, which can cause a negative storm surge, dramatically lowering coastal water levels. Another idea involves Rossby waves, huge, slow-moving waves in the ocean, caused by the Earth's rotation, which could have triggered an unusual tidal recession. But whether it was a direct miracle or a perfectly timed natural event, the parting of the sea remains a profound moment of liberation in human history. Now, let's travel much further back in time for Act 2, to a period when the Red Sea didn't just part, it vanished completely. Recent geological discoveries have revealed that around 6 million years ago, the Red Sea dried up entirely, turning into a vast, desolate salt desert. This incredible event is part of the Red Sea's own origin story. The sea is geologically young, formed by the Arabian and African tectonic plates slowly pulling apart. This rifting process, which began about 30 million years ago, created the long, narrow basin we see today. In its early days, the Red Sea was connected to the much larger Mediterranean Sea. But as tectonic plates shifted and global sea levels changed, that connection was severed. Isolated from the world's oceans and baked by the intense regional heat, the Red Sea began to evaporate. Over a period that was short in geological terms but immense to us, it completely disappeared. For an estimated 100,000 years, this vibrant marine highway was a barren, inhospitable salt plain. Thick layers of salt were left behind on the basin floor, a process similar to what created the massive salt deposits under the Mediterranean Sea during its own drying event, the Messinian salinity crisis. The Red Sea's return was just as dramatic as its disappearance. The basin was still blocked from the Indian Ocean by a volcanic ridge at its southern end, near the modern-day Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Then, the waters of the Indian Ocean breached this natural dam. In a colossal, biblical-scale flood, seawater surged into the empty basin. The torrent was so powerful It carved a 320-kilometer-long submarine canyon, a feature we can still see on the seafloor today with seismic imaging. This cataclysmic flood reconnected the basin to the global ocean, rapidly refilling it and transforming it from a salt desert back into a living sea. This discovery, pieced together from seismic data, microfossil analysis, and geochemical dating, gives us a new perspective on the immense power of geology to create and destroy entire seas. The Red Sea we know today exists because of this ancient cycle of vanishing and biblical-scale flooding. This brings us to Act 3, the future of this fragile sea. Having vanished and returned, the Red Sea now faces threats that could cause a different kind of disappearance, the vanishing of its unique and precious ecosystem. The sea's semi-enclosed nature, high salt content, and warm waters have fostered a truly special marine environment. It's home to stunning coral reefs and incredible biodiversity. About 14% of its fish, coral, and mollusk species are found nowhere else on Earth. These reefs are the lifeblood of the sea, supporting entire food webs and protecting coastlines. But this vibrant world is in trouble. The single greatest threat is climate change and rising ocean temperatures. When water gets too warm, corals expel the algae living in their tissues, turning white in a process called coral bleaching. If the heat persists, the corals die. But there's a fascinating twist. Corals in the Red Sea have an unusually high tolerance for warm water. This resilience was likely forged over millennia in the sea's naturally hot environment. Some scientists now believe the Red Sea could become a crucial refuge for corals, potentially harboring the world's last major reef system if global warming continues unchecked. The second major threat is geopolitical instability. The Red Sea is one of the world's most critical shipping arteries. A huge portion of global trade passes through the Suez Canal in the north and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait in the south. Recent attacks on shipping have caused massive disruptions, forcing many vessels to take the much longer, more expensive route around Africa. This has a huge economic impact, costing a nation like Egypt billions in lost canal revenue and highlighting the fragility of global supply chains. While the industry hopes for a return to normal, the situation remains uncertain. Finally, there's the pressure of development and tourism. The beauty of the Red Sea is attracting massive investment. Saudi Arabia, as part of its Vision 2030 plan, is spearheading huge luxury tourism projects along its coast, with plans for dozens of new resorts, hotels, and even an island golf course. These projects are marketed as models of sustainable and regenerative tourism, aiming to diversify the country's economy away from oil. However, the sheer scale of construction and the inevitable increase in human activity pose serious risks to the delicate marine environment, if not managed with extreme care. So, the story of the day the Red Sea vanished is not one story but three. It's the ancient narrative of a people's freedom, a story of faith that has shaped civilizations. It's the deep-time saga of a sea born from the rending of continents, a sea that literally disappeared from the face of the earth only to be reborn in a deluge. And it's the contemporary drama of a unique natural wonder facing an uncertain future, a sea whose vibrant life could vanish if we fail to protect it. From a miraculous parting to a catastrophic flood, the Red Sea has always been a place of dramatic transformation. Its past is written in scripture and stone, and its future is now being written by us. Thank you for joining G Fun Facts Online.